All right, folks, welcome back to the Night's Watch. I'm Jacob.
I'm Alex.
And boy, oh boy, hockey is here. Halloween decorations are out. We're under a heat advisory because we live in the cursed fucking Las Vegas desert. But that being said, I am still pretty excited.
Yep.
Got some preseason games to talk to. We're literally at the halfway point.
Yeah. We got 3 more left after, we got Avs twice and then the Sharks again, I believe, right?
I'm going to be honest, no clue.
I think that's what it is. But yeah, the first 3 games. Obviously the lineup was different almost every night, and I think we want to go through each game. But hockey's here. I mean, team looks relatively good, and those that played that were good look good. There's some question marks. I have some notes on some people that I'm like, oh, I don't know about this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we were 2-1 in the 3 games we played this last week. Quite a few different lineup every night, but I mean, a team looks good. It looks like they're continuing to execute the plan.
Yeah, I think the thing with preseason is it's not about winning or losing.
No, it's about practice.
It's about individual performance. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the opposite. Regular season, you want to see how they work as a unit.
Exactly.
Here, you're just kind of looking like, how does maybe a certain line look, if that's a line that we might see in the real season, or how do individual players look, etc.
Right.
And I will say, I think most of the guys that I wanted to look good.
Look good, yeah.
And there's been a few surprises.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it. So, first game was the Sharks.
Yes.
We tried to watch this together, and that was a disaster.
That was an adventure.
Nighttime
Plus.
Nighttime Plus basically locked out every user out of their account.
I feel like last year was the first year I was pretty forgiving of its flaws. I was just like, so
year 2, pick it up, motherfucker.
If you're taking my fucking money,
get
it together.
Yeah.
Because I know it's technically available on TV, but they chose the worst fucking antenna in the valley to broadcast it on.
The middle of the bottom of
I don't
the valley.
know. I don't know a single person that's been able to pick up that channel.
Yeah, because then it used to be on top of a Black Mountain or something like that.
Well, it should be, but they're using the one in the direct center of the valley that's surrounded by buildings and mountains.
Yeah,
and
where the KTNV offices or whatever.
Yeah,
so stupid.
Because I remember I couldn't get it on my antenna, so I bought a nicer one, and I still couldn't get it. And then I was checking online, and I just saw all these people oh yeah, I literally have the one that's mounted on my roof, and I can pick up shit from California, but I can't pick up fucking Vegas 36.
Jesus.
I'm great. So I personally, not to get too sidetracked here, starting to feel like it's a little bit of a conspiracy to force us to buy the Nighttime Plus subscription.
I'm gonna write a letter. I'm gonna look like
let's sign a petition.
It's gonna be like that. It's gonna be like the music video to Stan. It's gonna be writing a letter to Bill Foley.
Dear Mr. Foley, I programmed my receiver, but I'm still not picking you up.
But yeah, it was a bit of a shit show. Finally able to get a feed of it, but it was really just Lawless and Millard talking over
what it was. What it seemed
Sharks
to be
broadcast.
It was the Sharks feed, but I don't think it was even a TV broadcast feed. I think it was
the in-arena feed.
It was the in-arena feed
because they're showing on TV or on this feed what they'd be showing on the jumbotron.
Yeah, cheer real loud, decibel level, and everything's shaking and shit.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
And then it sounded like Dave and Darren and Shane and Ashley were in the break room or something.
Yeah,
yeah. They probably had a setup similar to what we're on right now.
Exactly, literally.
And,
but so I guess it worked out. So
yeah.
And we were able to watch it. We won 5-3.
And goals from Cal Burke, Brett Howden, Tuomas Euronin, and Tanner Pearson.
The Euronin goal was nasty.
Fucking piss missile. That was
nasty.
That was nice to see.
Yeah.
I think he already got reassigned back to his team.
Yeah, they made the second.
To be expected.
Yeah,
they
made
18 or something.
Yeah, they made the next cuts. Or the 2 cuts. They made the first cut, and then this cut was literally everybody
like a third of the team.
Yeah, yeah, it was I think there's all of maybe 5 or 6 guys left on the training camp roster that are fighting for spots.
I think between the 2 cuts, it was almost 30 guys. So
yeah.
I think it was. Yeah, it's basically. That being said, people always forget this, but those guys that got cut will probably still play preseason games.
Yes.
Because you got put on waivers, but that doesn't mean you're necessarily released from camp.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody that we cut got claimed on waivers or.
No, yeah, they all made it. So.
Good. I would have stabbed somebody in the neck.
I know, right?
So yeah, I mean they made those cuts, but yeah, this game was typical first preseason game.
Yeah, a little sloppy.
Yeah.
We did get our first look at the Pearson, Howden, Kolesar line.
Pearson, he looked good. He looked really good in that first game.
I don't want to jump the gun too much, but I'm really liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
from Pearson.
he had good chemistry with Kolesar and Howden. Shit, he's had good chemistry whoever he's played with so far. And he's playing. I mean, we don't get ahead of ourselves, but I mean, he's playing the way you want him to play on a bottom six role.
Exactly.
I really liked him. I think, obviously first game, everybody's gonna be like, hit or miss. And I think what we split the goaltending with Lindblom and
it was
Vikman, right?
it was Schmid and Seville.
So yeah, that's right. So I made the comment of, God damn it, Isaiah, wear a neck guard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, God, not even like not only the big plastic one, but like
even like the
collar.
under, that little collar. I'm like,
I hate it.
Yep. But
if you're listening, Isaiah, get a neck guard.
Goodbye, please.
For the love of God.
Yeah, I mean, it was some of the little shaky spots, but your first preseason game, it's really no difference than a regular AHL game at that point.
Yeah. To me, some guys that stood out in that game, like we already said, Pearson and Howden, that whole line.
That group.
It's always funny in preseason, like, your fourth line plays as your first line, and then it's all rookies. But then when you see a fourth NHL line play against rookies, you realize like
just how
huge the gap is.
Yeah,
I'm like, God damn, like Brett Howden looks like fucking Superman right now.
Oh, and then Caden Korzak wiped out Macklin Celebrini.
That was my favorite moment of the game. I think was Korzak fucking leveling Celebrini, and then Giovanni Smith comes over trying to stir shit.
Yeah, and he got he got like a double minor or something because Korzak's like, I'm not gonna. It was a clean hit. Like, what do you want me to do?
Well, that's the thing. It's like I can always appreciate guys. I'm like, nah, these are. I think that was just Giovanni Smith telling the coach, like, "Hey, I know what my job is."
Exactly. I can have a spot. I can be Macklin's protector.
But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, you're gonna get your shit rocked in the NHL. It happens.
Oh yeah, I mean, look what again.
And guess what? He got right back up, and then you scored a nasty fucking power play goal.
Yeah, and then they had a nasty pass to Tyler Toffoli. Like,
yes,
yeah, that little he looks great. Toffoli looks good.
My final note that I wrote on my little list here was just says fucking Celebrini, man.
Yeah, that was
kid's gonna be a problem for us for a long time.
Yeah. I mean, I think him pairing him with Toffoli and whoever rides shotgun on that line is gonna be fine. Obviously, they're not gonna be good. They'll be good, but the whole team won't be great. But yeah, I mean, it was a good game. I mean, relatively sloppy, but it's the first hockey game I've actually played in 6 months.
Yeah, we also saw our first game with Akira Schmid.
He looked good.
He looked pretty good.
Yeah, he looked good.
I guess I should say a half game, but
for the half of the game, he looked solid.
Yeah, he made a few big saves, and the biggest one was that crazy like odd man rush where they were zipping it around back and forth, cross crease pass, and then he gets over and stops it.
Yeah, he got a piece of it.
Yeah, maybe not stopped it as in like swallowed it up, but he knocked it out of the way.
Yep.
Which is he saved it. So I don't want to say pleasantly surprised because I know people are high on this kid, but I was like, okay, we're looking good.
You could see the talent. Like you could see why New Jersey was trying to get him to develop. I think they just pushed him too hard, too fast. But yeah, if he's just gonna be the starter in Henderson and then come up when we need him to be, I don't see that being an issue.
Yeah, same. So looking forward to seeing him in Henderson. Also, Lazinski was in this game. He had a pretty good game.
Yeah. And then the next game was the Kings. We did lose 2-3, although the Kings basically played their entire forward group outside of Anze Kopitar, Kempe, and I believe Akil Thomas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was that game was not as good.
Yeah, we looked definitely looked sloppy.
You were at that game.
I was at that game. I got some discount tickets, but I was at that game.
Right on the glass.
I
couldn't
believe it. But it was still fun. It was a close game, but the team looked sloppy. Unfortunately, the Kings lost Drew Doughty on a tie-up against the Boars with Tanner Pearson.
It wasn't even like a hit.
Yeah, they were just going for the puck and
they just got tangled up.
Yeah, they got tangled up.
Yeah, his leg was
fractured his ankle, right?
Yeah, it's out now. He fractured his ankle, and I think he also had tendon damage.
So he's out. It said month to month. I'm like, he's not coming back until like January.
No,
Like,
yeah, exactly. Which, at first I was looking at our Pacific preview, and I was like, I have the Kings way too low, man.
now it's like,
Exactly. I was like, how could I put them at 5? They're probably more like 3, if anything.
That's a big loss.
And now I'm
huge.
like, okay, actually, maybe 5 was just right.
I mean, that's a pretty massive loss. We know he's older, but Drew Doughty does everything for the Kings.
And I feel like he's not that old. Like I always have to remind myself that he's in the same class as Petrangelo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and obviously they're both like veteran guys, but I think they're also both a few years away from like really slowing down.
Oh yeah, for sure. But Drew Doughty still was. I mean, he was looking good up until that play. I mean, it happens. And then on this game, who scored for us? It was
so we got goals from Noah Hannafin on his pin night.
Hannafin again.
And then
Hannafin looks great.
Tanner Lazinski.
So the line we really wanted to see on this game was the Wah Hurdle Holtz line.
Yeah, and they did not score, but I thought they looked pretty good.
Looked pretty good together. I know
specifically, I thought Tomas Hurdle looked really.
Hurdle looked really good. He looked really great on the puck. Strong on the puck.
It's kind of funny.
He was manufacturing plays too with Holtz. Holtz had a couple decisions I didn't like. He took a couple penalties.
Dumb penalties.
Yeah, nothing smart.
I was going to say with Hurdle, it's kind of funny that all summer long I've been hearing people in the fan base, out of the fan base, everyone's like, well, this Hurdle trade is a mess. He wasn't very good, in the 7 games that he played.
Yeah, the 2 weeks of hockey. Yeah.
Yeah, just
coming off an ACL repair on his knee.
Yeah, like, why would they even give up Hurdle? They must know he's damaged goods and he's not the same guy, and basically people saying like he can't play anymore. What an awful trade, so on and so forth.
Already looked pretty good.
And I said he was the only guy on this team that looked ready to play that night.
Ready to play NHL games.
Like the third period, guys kind of heated up, but like the first 2 periods are fucking brutal.
Yeah, well, let's go through
especially that first period.
Yeah, what's the lineup? So it was Wah, Hurdle, Holtz.
Yeah, then it was Dorofiev, Lazinski, and Denisenko.
Yep.
And then they had Pearson playing with Quinney and Brisson.
Yep.
And then Aston Reese with Sapovalov and Cataford.
Yeah, is that Aston Reese did have a pretty passing play to set up the Hannafin goal.
I thought he had a solid game.
Yeah, it was a pretty nice pass to get that there. But then, like we said, the rest of the team was kind of just hit or miss. I know they switched the lineups about halfway through the game and put Brisson on the wing of Hurdle, and he didn't do anything or look great. I think he made it. Well, the penalty he took was justified, because Hurdle got cross-checked in the corner, and then he came over. I respect that. You're going to stand up for your guy. And
I respect that, but at the same time, understandable, but perhaps not smart.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
And then his other one, he just fucking airmailed it over the glass. And
exactly.
I was like, okay.
Yeah, he didn't look...
It's preseason. I won't get too mad. But
he didn't look too good. But like we said, Hurdle looked good. I know it was a loss, but they're playing a basically full Kings team.
Wall looked really good.
Wall looked very good.
He had a lot of plays where I was like, I think him and Hurdle are going to work together just fine, because
it's just getting the timing down. Like, in-game timing, like once you get that in, like it's different than practice. Obviously, it's moving a little slower, but in-game timing, once you get that down together, it's gonna be almost like
and well, they both play that game where they're both fairly fast, they're physical, and most importantly,
really good on the puck. Yeah.
They can really protect the puck.
Yep.
And there was a couple plays where like Wah was like keeping it in at the line or just holding guys off. That gave everyone a chance to get in position. And
that's what you need against a team like the Kings that have those big centers, or good stick handling centers like Byfield and Deneau and Kopitar, who wasn't playing this game. But yeah, it's against preseason. Losses happen. It was a decent game.
Yeah, and then Samsonov, first time
looked
seeing
pretty
him.
good. I mean, that third goal, you don't like that because like he just was on the ground and fell, and then really was beating himself up over it.
That's what got me the most, was his reaction to that goal. Like, he's hanging. One thing I've learned really over the years is that how much of a mental position goalie is. And when you see guys reacting like that, that's when you're like, fuck, this guy's in his head right now.
Yeah.
And I think I texted you. I was like, he cannot be reacting like this to one goal in his first preseason game.
Yeah, like the first two weren't on him. One was like a laser, and the other one was like It was the end of a power play that was just
break
down by the Killers.
The first one was like a pass.
Yeah.
Basically, he didn't have a chance. No, I don't think anyone would have.
Yeah.
And even then, he still made a good movement to get over. It just like barely went in under his arm. Second one, it was a snipe, and I think he could have done a better job tracking it. But also there was traffic, and I was like, okay, it happens. And then the third one was just bad.
Yeah. But again, he just needs to not get broken up over, a goal that like it happens. You can't. I know, like you said, goalies are totally mental guys, but
and also and on the flip side, he faced a lot of shots. And he stopped a lot of pucks.
That's the other thing. We didn't shoot.
I think we got outshot like 15-2 in the first period or something.
So it was on the team that was on the ice. But again, preseason trying things.
Yeah, and then to his credit, what I took the most heart in was he really bounced back after that third goal and kind of focused back in and made a few more big stops.
Yeah, he still looked decent.
Kept it close. It was only a 1-goal game.
Yep.
But yeah, all in all, I would say it was a good performance from him. I'm not worried.
I think so.
It was more or less exactly what I expected from him.
Yeah, we got to see
he's going to have at least, I feel like he's always going to have at least one bad goal and then get in the dumps and then but then also make a couple of crazy saves. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah, Hannafin Hague looked really good.
Yes.
And then White Cloud had some dumb plays.
Yeah, he had a few moments where I was like, dude.
What are you doing? Yeah.
Or just like misses and on things, and I hate saying it because he's like one of my favorite players, but like it's getting to the point where I'm like, if you're not careful, you're gonna not be on this team.
Well, because Korzak's getting a few looks.
Korzak had
Kings, and Korzak played against Utah too, right?
Yeah, he was on all three. He played all 3 games.
Yeah,
and I don't remember if it was the Sharks game or the Kings game, but there was one where he, made a really smart defensive play right in front of the net, and he basically got to a puck that
would have been easy goal.
So I was like, well, Korzak looks pretty good, and he plays the same position as you, so you need to get it into gear. Yeah. That being said, I think he looked a lot better in the Utah game.
Oh, definitely. He looked White Cloud of old in the Utah game. I don't know if it's he realized like, oh, I need to pick it up, or I'm gonna be either the 7th defenseman or traded for something.
Yeah. And who else I thought had a pretty good game against LA was McNabb.
Yeah. He looked good.
Steady. Which, I wanted to shout that out. It's almost McNabb he's almost the type of player where like I feel like he doesn't get the praise he deserves because everyone's like, oh yeah, that's just McNabb doing what he does.
He's just there.
He's just being McNabb.
Yeah.
It's almost like you take it for granted
a steadily good defenseman.
I don't even say good. He's a great defenseman.
Yeah.
Great. One of the greater defensive defensemen.
Yeah.
Stay at home guy, but you need those guys.
Yes, I agree.
He did have a pretty good. If you're looking for dramatics, a pretty good diving poke check to break up what would have been a sure shot.
Yeah, I was sitting there at the game and I saw it. I was like freaking out, and my wife was just like, "What happened?" I'm like, "You're not paying attention. You didn't see that one like beautiful play to break it up." It's like he laid out for it, poked it, got it to the corner. I'm like, "Oh, that's." Classic McNabb, consistency.
Yeah, and then Tanner Pearson, another great game.
Again, look good.
Multiple breakaways.
Yep.
Just like I said, it's going to be a common theme here with all these games. Is Tanner Pearson looked great, and he was playing with Quinney and Brisson for half the game, and then
switched up to somebody else.
Yeah, they got jumbled. I couldn't keep track.
Yeah.
Because I'm only human, man. I'm only human. I'm also trying to enjoy the game.
We're not keeping track of the jumbled lines Bruce Cassiel threw out there.
If we ever start making money off this thing, then I'll start taking better notes.
Yeah.
For now, I'm also just trying to enjoy the game.
Exactly.
But
and then other than that, on the Kings, Doughty, that loss is huge.
Yeah.
Kemper didn't look that good. I mean,
I thought he looked good.
We scored on him, and we only had no, that's right.
I thought all the goals were on.
It was the guy that came in. What was his name?
Was it Vialta?
No, Vialta plays for Utah.
Yeah. I forgot his name. I didn't recognize it when they said it.
Yeah, it was that. Never mind. I mixed him up. Yeah. So the backup, whatever. He's gonna be probably in Ontario or something.
Yeah. It was like George something.
Carter George, I think.
Yeah. But yeah. They said his name, didn't recognize him. I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
But-
sure. I think they did mention he was like 18.
Yeah. Then again, Kemper faced like all of like what 8 shots, I think.
Yeah, we weren't really generating much.
Yeah, that's my thing. Is like when we get up against a team that's like overall defensively sound, we can't also allow them to have 30 shots and us have 12. But again, preseason obviously to be different.
So, what did you think of your boy Alexander Holtz?
Again, 2 dumb penalties. His skating looked better. He looked like he had some chemistry with Hurdle. And that's the reason why Cassidy kept him with Hurdle when he jumbled the lines. It looked like he was.
I do think he switched the wing at one point.
Yeah.
I think he might have started the game on the left and then moved to the right or
something
the
like
other way
that.
around.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. There were flashes of something cooking there.
Yeah, there's definitely the potential. I mean, again, he's 22 years old. I think
and
he's going to take some work.
It was literally his first preseason game with a new team.
Yeah, with Hurdle, new team, new arena.
Yeah. So I like I said, I saw flashes there. I think I'll say I'm cautiously optimistic.
Literally what I was going to say. So
cautiously optimistic. So good stuff.
And then
and real quick, our boy Mason Geertsen got a game. So
yep, yeah, he actually looked decent. Yeah, he was playing defense, not too bad. He had some good hits. So then on Friday we played Utah.
Yeah, we both went to that game. That was fucking awesome. Friday night game.
We won 5-2.
My first time back in the Fortress for the season, and felt like coming home.
Yeah,
you know,
5-2. It started out a little slow, and then once we started scoring, it was just a downhill. Downhill chug, and obviously they threw out the Barbie Eichel Olofsson line to try that out, and then they had Dory with Lachinsky and Stone, right?
Mm-hmm. And then they had the Pearson Howden Kolsar line again, which tells me that Cassidy likes that line and wants to get a lot of looks at it.
Yep.
And so that was acting as the third line, and then the fourth line was Silver Knights guys Ronbjerg, Bravinich, and Morelli.
Yeah, and that fourth line even didn't look that bad.
Oh no, I thought Morelli had a good game. Yeah. I thought Ronbjerg had a good game.
Ronbjerg's made some good defensive decisions and had a good game.
It sucks because I feel like he always seems to have people in front of him on the chart, but he's so good, and he always makes the right decision. He always does the smart thing with the puck. He really does remind me of Carlson. He's like, if Anton Lundell is Baby Barkov, then Ronbjerg is Baby Carlson.
Yeah, exactly. He looks good when he's playing.
But it's funny. I mean, I was just gonna say with preseason games, you're kind of there to evaluate guys. And then Eichel plays his first game, and he just immediately has. It took him about a period to warm up.
Yeah, and it was over.
And then he had 3 points. And I'm like, okay, well
he's back.
So, in case anyone was wondering, Jack Eichel is still Jack Eichel.
Jack Eichel is still that guy. And then Theo, we saw the first game with the Theo and the Petro pairing.
Yeah. So, what were your thoughts on that?
I thought it looked good together.
I know we were drinking and carrying on and hooting and hollering, but
I thought they looked pretty good together. I know Theo had that penalty. I don't remember what it was for. But I thought they looked pretty good together. I know they're going to take time to like get used to each other, obviously, because they're two guys that are used to running the point or shooting it in from the top of the circles, or even guys that are used to pushing it down low. Both those guys do that.
Yeah.
But they looked okay together. I didn't see any immediate flaws with it.
I was gonna say because I'm not like sour on this pairing at all. I think it's still a good idea and it'll work itself out.
They gotta have some times together.
There was one play where we got scored on that it kind of perfectly encapsulated the trouble with having them both on the ice at the same time, which is that I think Petro was already behind the net going for the puck, and then Theodore jumped in behind the net.
Yep.
Suddenly, both our defensemen are behind the net, and Ronbjerg has to get back to the goal to try to guard it.
Yeah.
And then they get the puck, pop it out, and score.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
You can't have that happen. And that was always that's my concern. You got two offensive guys. I'm like, you guys are defensemen. You don't overcommit.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah, you still have to play a little back. One of them still has to play.
You need at least one guy at the net. So that was. I would classify that as a mild concern.
Yeah, but it's still gonna be growing pains.
Exactly, it's preseason, but they're veteran guys. I'm sure and they haven't really played together before, so they can.
I don't think they've ever played together before.
Yeah, maybe like briefly if we're like down a goal or something, and we're like desperate for offense. But
yeah.
That being said, Not too concerned about it. I'm sure they'll learn to read off each other better as time goes on.
Yeah, and boy, oh boy, does that Barbie Eichel Olofsson line look pretty fucking good.
I know we were just talking about Eichel, but it was really all three of them.
Yeah,
especially that last one of their goals that I think was in the third period where they just that pretty passing play. I was like, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
They are just cruising together.
So Olofsson in that game had an assist, 3 shots, and 6 shot attempts. It's pretty good.
Damn.
Eichel 3 points, goal and 2 assists, and then Barbashev a goal. But more importantly, like we said, I think it was just the fact that they looked so comfortable together.
Yeah, very comfortable.
They had no problem generating offense.
And then we were on a couple power plays, and we got to look at minus Hannafin, but the PP1, I think the defenseman was Petro on PP1. No, it was Theodore.
No, yes,
it was Theodore.
Yeah, he was.
It was PP2
because he scored on PP2, I think, as with that slap shot that went in.
Yep. PP1. I know they didn't score, but there was moments where like, holy shit, they're just all over.
Because
in front of them.
Because at first I'm like, are they going to keep Barbie in there? Are they, when they in a real game situation, are they going to have like Hurdle or whoever? But
I would assume Hurdle or Carlson, but he still looked good.
I say he still looked good. Like he had no trouble keeping up. I feel like we think of Barbie as like a physical guy, a forechecker, which he is.
But he's very fast.
He's very fast, and he can pass and he can shoot. He has good offensive instincts. Yeah. He had 19 goals last year.
Yeah, he was good.
I feel like that kind of flew under the radar because we were so worried about making playoffs or about Marchessault, scoring, breaking the record. But he one more and he would have hit 20, which I would have been more than happy to. Someone said, "Would you be okay if Barbie got 20 goals?" I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, that's amazing."
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Just repeat what he did last year. I'll take it. This was a good game. Obviously, it was a fun game because we were there. But Hill played the entire game, looked solid, made some good saves.
Yep.
Utah looked pretty good too. I mean, obviously they weren't playing all of it. They played a lot of their forwards. They didn't play all of their defense. I think it was Sean Dursey.
Yeah, and I don't think Keller played. But
no, he did not.
But they had some good pieces.
Other forwards. I think it literally was just Dursey on their defense, and I think Robert Bertuzzo, who might just be a scratch on that team, or like a 7th defenseman.
Yeah.
So, I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but, Jack looked great. That first line looked great. Dory looked good, made some good plays. Speaking of, we didn't talk about Dory. That play against the Kings where he stole the puck in the neutral zone and had a free shot, just missed it. But
and like he protected the puck as someone was right on top of him, and I was like, wow, I did not think he would be able to force his way in like that.
What, Jack Eichel playing this game right now?
No, for real. I was like, god damn.
Yeah, that was one thing.
We call that his unstoppable force zone ability, Alex.
Yeah, and he still looked good. Him and Stone looked good together. I know Lachinsky was the center, but Lachinsky also has looked good.
Well, I was going to say, to me, the biggest moment of that game was, I guess you could say it was the first line looking good, but the other big moment, it was 2 goals and how they happened. First, there was Lazinski with a good interception and then a nasty pass to Dorofeev, who fucking sank it. Mm-hmm. And then before they finish announcing that goal,
immediately
Tanner Pearson decided, he's like, well, I also want to do that. And
I also want to make this team.
Exactly. And then so he did pretty much the same play, got a puck, and then set up, who was it?
Colasar, yep.
Which I will say, Colasar looked fucking great because that whole play started.
That line looks like it's already got so much chemistry together.
Oh yeah,
the Colasar, Howden, Pearson line.
The play was great because it started in our end.
Yep.
Colasar was protecting the puck, and then he breaks it out. It gets to Pearson. Pearson goes in fast as fuck. Like, that's another thing. Like, he's faster than I thought he was.
He looks,
like, everyone's like, oh, he's old. I'm like, well, that's an old fast man then.
Yeah. Well, he's 31, 32, but was injured for basically 3 years straight.
Yeah. Well, can't tell now.
Yeah.
Because and then it does not look like his hands or wrists are bothering him.
No,
he had a nasty backhand dish to Colasar, then Colasar sank it.
Yep.
Great play. And then of course there's no better feeling than when they're announcing one goal and then we score before they have a chance to finish announcing it.
We never got tacos the next day. Damn.
I know. I thought, which is funny because I got home and I was a little drunky poo, and I did end up ordering about $38 worth of Taco Bell.
Nice.
Because I wasn't going to drive, folks. Be safe.
Yeah.
And I also didn't drive home.
Yeah.
So be safe. But
you were driven home by a Tesla that somehow took you to the airport.
yeah, Daddy Musk took me through the airport for some reason. Not even like the airport connector. Well, I mean, we got to the connector eventually, but like literally, not even passenger pickup. It was like that like bay underneath passenger pickup where all the taxis are.
What the fuck?
Yeah, but
Well,
got through. Through.
Yeah, I mean, I think we look good. They look good so far. So we play the Avalanche on Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, right now the team is in Montana for their annual bonding trip.
Oh, fun.
At Foley's Ranch. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, good.
Usually don't hear much of it except for the year that Robin Leonard was there and decided to tweet about Alan Vigneault and call the Flyers organization evil. And, that really set the tone for that season.
So he, speaking of Robin Leonard, attorney or whatever that's suing him, suing his credit, there are representing his creditors or whatever in his bankruptcy lawsuit, like filed a motion or something because he was spending he spent like $1.5 million in trips or some shit like that.
Basically, they asked the court, and it was granted to freeze his assets because despite filing for bankruptcy 2 years ago, I guess he spent $1.5 million on, quote, luxury purchases, vacations, and gambling.
Well, Robin, I know you're likely not mentally doing well, but please.
Yeah, I hate to speculate, but I'm just
help.
I'm like, what are the people close to him doing, man?
What are they telling him?
Like, help him out, Jesus.
Yeah, he's being taken advantage of, clearly.
Well, exactly, because, like I said, not to sound like Future over here, but my first thought was like, why is your wife okay with going on luxury vacations right now, bro?
She lives a certain lifestyle and has to maintain that, chick.
I guess so, because he got $6.5 million out of his contract last year. Cause I know the AAV is 5.5,
but yeah, it's like yeah.
So he got like 6.5, and it was immediately gone. Jesus Christ. The purchases, and then also
I could only imagine just randomly getting $6.5 million to do nothing at all for a year. You would never find me. I'd just disappear, and then you know what? When you say, "Hey, guess what? If you show up for one day and get evaluated, you get another $5 million." Like, okay.
I would, if someone gave me 6.5 to do nothing for a year, I would make it last more than a year.
Oh yeah, exactly.
I would buy a house, I would buy a car, and then I don't know, like a fucking Wendy's franchise, and just keep the income coming in.
Exactly, or like just invest it into something. But yeah, it's so absurd. But
and
anyways,
I was gonna say another thing. I feel like people are focusing on the gambling part because, of course, you see the story get posted online, right? And then you see all these shitheads just saying, well, what do you think when you play in that joke of a city, Las Vegas, classic Vegas problems, ha ha ha. And I'm like, one, do you guys really think gambling only exists in Las Vegas? Like, have you watched a hockey game in the last 3 years and just gotten bombarded by fucking gambling
sports
ads? Sports betting, DraftKings, fucking
yeah, exactly.
FanDuel.
If anything, that's worse than, not to like say addictions or anything are worse than the other. I would say sports betting like that, the amount that people you see online, that these fucking absurd.
It's so normalized,
yeah.
And what kills me is like I feel like the thing with sports betting, I think, is that it tricks people into thinking that like if you know not enough about sports, you'll have an edge.
Win. Yeah, but you can know everything about sports, but you're never gonna have an edge.
You're still gonna lose more than you win.
Yeah,
and maybe it's because we're Vegas boys and we've seen it firsthand.
Yep.
To me, not to go on a tangent, but to me, one of the big things about growing up in Vegas is most of the locals I know don't like to gamble, really.
No,
and it's because we know it's a fucking fixed game.
Yeah,
it's for gambling is for the, and sorry if you gamble if I'm offending you, but to me, gambling is for the fucking suckers and the marks and the tourists. Yeah. They go walk down the strip and ask yourself, how is this beautiful resort built? With what money?
On the fucking backs of millions and millions and millions of gambling debt.
But hey, buddy. You got a system. You're good. Not you. You're gonna win.
I've got my Excel file that tells me how I'm gonna win. Oh wait, I lost already. Shoot.
Well, try again.
Yeah, I don't.
You'll win next time.
There's some gambling debt for Leonard. I just think it's more of a mental health thing because even like that, then you have all like the exotic animals and the snakes and the.
And then I was gonna say the one that I got a little sidetracked with people shit talking the city. which I guess I ended up doing inadvertently. But to me, the part that no one's really focusing on is the second sentence where it said he's also transferring all of his money to shell corporations in Dubai.
Oh.
So he's basically he has the money. He's just hiding it.
Oh, my God.
So, and I'm not going to lie. If I was, I don't know how I'd act in that situation. I might end up doing the same thing, to be honest.
Maybe that's where snake dealers at.
Maybe.
They got a lot of them out there.
I said Dubai does seem like a place you can buy an exotic snake.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. But, well, anyways, I'm sure he'll come back up again many times this season.
Back to camp.
I think the big storyline that I'm paying a lot of attention to, well, right now, first Haig wasn't playing, but he took a puck up high, but he did practice, so he was fine. Carlson hasn't practiced at all.
Yeah.
Since the first two practices, and they're saying maintenance, but that's certainly concerning.
Yeah,
I know he had a knock at the end of the Dallas series, or in the Dallas series. He's playing injured for sure. He looked like he was in pain every time he was on the ice. Somehow still played really well.
He was not himself.
Yeah, if he was himself, I think that series would have gone much differently.
Agreed. But
yeah,
it's concerning. Here's the thing with preseason, right? They're not going to make you play or practice if it's even a little bit uncomfortable.
Exactly.
Because there's no point.
And that's why I like seeing Stone. He means he's comfortable. That's what he played.
Exactly. Yep. So, if you're battling something, this could be a situation where, like, well, if it was regular season, he would play. But because it's preseason, we're just going to give him the week off.
Yeah, I hope it's just general soreness.
It could just be that. But also, this team is so fucking vague with their injury reporting. Yeah. I know they all are, but I feel like we especially are.
Yeah.
And he's
a huge part of this team.
Maintenance day turns into ruled out for tomorrow's game, turns into not week practicing, to week. Turns into basically they ask, and then, Bruce looks at you like you're stupid for asking. And then he basically just says something like, all I know is he's not here. It's like, oh, great.
It's like, all I know is I'll kill you if you ask again.
Yeah, so like I said, I'm sure he's on the bonding trip right now. Hopefully when they come back for their first practice, which I'm not sure when that'll be, probably Monday.
Monday or Tuesday. It'd have to be Monday because they would play on Tuesday. So they probably practice on Monday and then
morning skate on Tuesday. Yeah, so hopefully we'll see him Monday. We'll see.
Yep.
But
at least get some practice, yeah.
One, because I really want to see him play with Stone.
Yeah, Stone and Dory.
Yeah, and two, that's just like one of, if not the most important parts of our team. So
yeah, so
need him.
I'm going to give you the names that are still on the training camp roster.
Okay.
One of these might be a surprise. Two of these, I'm not going to count one of these. I don't know why Jordan Gustafson's still on the team. Maybe he plays on. Oh, he's a center, so maybe he plays on Tuesday. So here are the names that are still in the training camp roster that haven't been cut yet. I will ask you if, of all these guys, who do you think makes the team? So we've got Brendan Brisson.
No.
Mason Morelli.
No.
Zach Aston Reese.
No.
Jordan Gustafson.
No.
Jacob Demick.
No.
Tanner Lachinsky. And Tanner Pearson. And then we've got Robert Haig, Lucas Cormier, and Akira Schmid.
No. Well, it's basically the Tanners, right?
Yeah. That's the name of the episode. It's the Tanners, right? I think they could both make the team, and one of them is an extra forward.
I think so, too. I was about to say, I don't know the cap situation because it's always
Tanner
changing.
Lachinsky only makes $775, and Pearson gets the PTO, probably gets like $1 million.
Yeah.
1.125, something like that. I think both of them should make the team. They both look really good. They both look better than Zach Aston Reese.
Yeah, on my next page of notes here, I wrote standouts so far, and half the page it just says the Tanners. Because Tanner Pearson, 2 points,
Tanner Pearson
plus 4.
Tanner Pearson's looked excellent. He's played again. Did Lachinsky play?
They both have played all 3 games.
So I think it's a foregone. I mean, unless Zach Aston Reese
with different line mates.
Unless Zach Aston Reese plays and Brisson plays the next 3, and they don't, Bruce takes a look at the other 2 names that could make this team. I think it's it's Tanner Lachinsky and Tanner Pearson that are going to make this team.
Agreed. And Zach Aston Reese has looked decent. He's had a few good plays that were visible. But frankly, I'm like, I just don't think
Pearson just looks like he's working harder and looks like he's doing everything you want him to do in a bottom 6 role.
He is an absolute dog out there.
Yeah.
In a good way, not like dogging it, but he's an animal out there.
Yeah. He's got great chemistry with Howden and Colasar.
He works really hard. When he's going for the puck or has the puck, he's like a fucking dog on a bone.
Yep.
Will not let it up. Remember that play last night when he was in the wall closest to our seats and the Utah player was trying to get it in and he was just like hacking like
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, like he's really going for it.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, surprisingly fast. He's had I swear to God, like 5 breakaways in 3 games.
Yeah. He's looked really good.
And he's creating offense. Like he's making good passes and good plays.
And
like,
Lachinsky or is Lachinsky? I think it's Lachinsky, isn't it?
This was I was listening to Sinbin and they were having the same debate. And then I'll have to find a replay and see what Gosher said. I usually just default to what he says because I assume they talk.
He's usually the right one, yeah. But whatever. But he I mean, obviously, game on Friday, he looked good with Dory and Stone, and like we said, he had that great setup for Dory, and
he just has a great attitude.
Yep.
Definitely recommend anyone listening to find Gary Lawless's interview with him. A lot of good quotes. You can just tell he's in a good place mentally, despite all the injury troubles. And he's confident, and he's got a good attitude, and he's also not holding any illusions that he's a shoe-in or he's going to get the job.
Pearson's just straight up going like, I'm working to make a team. Like,
yeah,
it may be this team, maybe a different team, but I'm here to show I can still play hockey.
Yeah, and he's been complimentary of all of his line mates and saying like, yeah, we fit in, and they make things easy for me, and they're easy to communicate with, and I don't feel like I don't know what to do. I know what's expected of me, and I feel like I'm doing
exactly what you want to hear, because then like we said, you allow Waugh to play up.
Yes.
Here's my thing: is what if Karlsson isn't ready? You have Waugh on the team that can pop in and play center with Dory and Stone. You can play that center role with them, and you could throw Brisson or whoever on the wing of Hurdle and hold somebody on the wing. But you have a center in your lineup that could play up the lineup. It's proven that. So you have a contingency plan in case something happens with Karlsson or Karlsson's not ready. Waugh's your contingency plan.
Yes. And he can do it. He played a lot of games TC last
100%,
year.
And then you could throw, like we said, Pearson could play on the wing with Hurdle. Lachinsky probably could. It's plug and play. And then you still have someone that can play on the fourth line. You're not worried about losing your bottom six bottom six depth or anything like that. I think it's these two. I think it's Tanner Lachinsky and Tanner Pearson. I just don't see, unless Zach Aston-Reese and Brendan Brisson completely turn it around and blow it out in the next 3 games and are like amazing. I just don't see how these two aren't the two guys on the team.
Yeah, I'll talk these two up a little bit more real quick, and then I'm going to get into why I don't think Brisson is going to make the team like now or like ever, frankly. But yeah, Pearson, so 2 points, +4.
That's what you want to hear.
Lazinski, 3 points, tied for the lead, which is Jack Eichel, who did it all in 2 periods of hockey because he's Jack Eichel. But yeah, Lazinski, good passes. I just feel like he's smart. He just seems to know how to get in position. Yeah. And a lot of similarities to Pearson in that he's just, you could tell he's working hard out there. I feel like, question to you, who would you start over the two of them, Pearson or Lazinski? Lazinski
right now?
Yeah.
If this was night 1, opening night against the Avs, and Karlsson was healthy, everybody was healthy. If my option on that bottom line wing was one of the two, I wouldn't pick anybody else right now. It's going to be one of those two guys.
But which of those two would you pick over? Of those two, would you go Pearson first or Lazinski first?
That's a good question. I would go. Let's say they both make the team, and it's against the Avs. I do Pearson first.
Same.
Because it's against an Avs team that's big and strong and fast, and you need a guy like Pearson that's also big and strong and fast.
Yeah, I think.
I'm not saying Lachinsky isn't either, but I think Pearson with that experience, against a team like that.
I feel like so far the local reporters have been talking about Lazinski more, but I think I would prefer Pearson as well. I think Pearson is creating a little bit more on his own.
Yes.
Lazinski, I don't want to say he's like lucky or getting lucky, but I feel like he's kind of been, like one of those goals, like, it was like the grossest turnover I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
It was disgusting.
Yeah,
like,
he was, well, that's also the thing you want to see is that he's capitalizing on the mistakes of
True, and like I said, I'm not trying to downplay him. I'm just saying I would give the edge to Pearson because I think he's creating a little bit more on his own.
Yeah, and, other than age, they've got very similar stats. They're both 6'1", 200 pounds, so they're almost the same player. It's you could. I feel like you couldn't go wrong either way here. And if Pearson makes the team, you'll have your seventh forward is Laczynski, or whoever you want it to be.
Agreed. I think right.
You can bring Brisson or Zach Aston-Reese up. They're probably not going to get claimed.
Yeah. So I think right now I would start Pearson and then have Laczynski be the extra forward, and then we would have the 2 extra D, so that would be our 3 scratches.
Perfect.
But yeah, so now looking at some of the others, the negative for me has been Brendan Brisson.
He just hasn't.
He needs to get his ass in gear.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how else to say it. And I feel like I feel like maybe some people are starting to wake up to this fact, but I'm like, guys, he's not as young as you think he is. He's 20. He was a first round pick 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, and he's played
He's gonna be 23.
Yeah. But I feel like he has the name recognition, so a lot of people are like, "Oh yeah, Brisson's gonna play. I want to see Brisson get a look. Brisson.
He's dangerously close to being a casualty for a high-end trade."
Well, like I said the other day when we saw Nick Robertson wipe out fucking Willie Nylander, I was like, Brisson for Robertson, 1 for 1. Who says no?
Yeah, but I mean, that's the thing is he's no longer. Top dog in that. In the.
I feel like he's not even. I feel like he's not even the best forward in Henderson.
No, no, it's probably Demick or Brabenec.
Yeah.
But even in the prospect pool, I would put obviously. Oh my god, just forgot his name. Blacked out for a second there. Guy we drafted this year.
Trevor Connolly.
Trevor Connolly's number 1, and then it's Alexander Holtz, and then it's Kier Schmid, and then it's Caden Korzak, and then it's Lucas Cormier, and then you start going down the list. And
I put Chayka in there too.
Yeah, and then Chayka, and then you're going down the list. You're like, man, Brisson went from number 1 to maybe not even the top 10 anymore. I'd put Carl Lindblom over him.
Yeah,
that. Nothing against the kid. I like the way the way he plays. I like his attitude, and it's just he hasn't translated to the NHL yet.
So I heard some variation of this quote twice this week. I was listening to Spittin' Chicklets, and they're doing their division previews, and they're having guests from different teams come on, like GMs or reporters,
right.
Coaches or whatever.
Pays to be a former player and know all these people.
Exactly. But they had Doug Armstrong. There's a Doug or Bill. For St. Louis, I'll just say Armstrong from St. Louis, and then who was the other one? It might have been.
Is it Billy Guerin?
Yes, they had Billy Guerin from Minnesota, and they both had some variation of the same quote that I really liked when they were talking about training camp. And basically,
Doug Armstrong.
Okay, I think Bill Armstrong's Arizona or Utah.
Yes.
Okay.
Too many Armstrongs.
Well, hockey's basically a
boys' club,
autocracy. Well, that's another thing with Ron Beer. It's Pat Brisson's son, so that's kind of. Not Ron Beer. Fuck. Cut all that.
That's the thing with Brendan Brisson. He's Pat Brisson's son.
I'm stone cold sober, folks. This is just how I live my life daily. Imagine me on a telecon at work. It's great stuff.
Jesus.
But anywho, so they both had some variation of the same quote where they said something along the lines of, "This is an NHL training camp.
Yeah,
you're not going to be given anything. You have to take it." He's like the NHL, and Billy G says the NHL is the best league in the world, and
by far and away,
and we want to be one of the best teams in that league. You have to take that spot. You're not going to be given anything. This is not a developmental league.
Mm-mm.
You have to take it, and that's the exact attitude that I think Pearson and Laczynski have.
Yeah.
And I think that's the attitude that Brisson does not have.
Yeah.
Because I was optimistic for him this year because I feel like I was kind of ragging on him earlier. I was like, he's kind of getting up there for a first round pick. But then I was like, well, guys go at their own pace and all this. And I had heard that he trained really hard this summer and got a lot stronger. I'm like, okay, that's good. He's obviously gunning for a spot and he's, preparing himself. But he just doesn't really do much when he's out there, and he doesn't create much.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can't just hope that you're going to shoot and score the entire time. You got to work a little harder, or at least show something that you could be somewhat responsible in. Like not every skater is going to be responsible in their own zone, but that's the kind of game that Bruce Cassidy coaches, is that you have to be responsible everywhere.
Well,
and he just didn't look great to me on against the Kings. Did he play any other game other than against the Kings?
I think he played in the first game.
He played against the Sharks?
He played against the Sharks. He played against the Kings, and he was not in last night or Friday night. So
yeah, and then again, we won.
2 games.
We won 5-3, but he wasn't on the stat sheet, wasn't on the score sheet against the Sharks. I think and he did not look that great against the Kings. You just want more out of you're the guy like that.
Yeah, I just like I said, I just want him to. If you want that spot, like, take it, man.
You have to take it. Yeah,
that's what Tanner Pearson's doing right now.
Yeah, that's what Tanner Lachinsky's doing right now.
Exactly. So to quote Connor McDavid, dig in right now.
Yeah, I mean, Kelly brought in 2 bona fide killers.
And that's the
great
thing.
Shots. You have to beat those guys too.
Well, and that's the thing. Like Pearson and Lazinski, those aren't like high school guys.
No,
they're not like snipers. They're young. They're hard workers and they're older. Frankly, Brisson should be able to beat them out.
Yeah. I can understand.
He's younger. He has more skill. He's had more time with the organization.
You would want Brisson to attempt to beat out Olofsson and Holtz too. You would want him to make a reason to be up in that top 6 because he needs to be up in that top 6.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't trust him. On a fourth line,
definitely not on the fourth line, but even with the center depth we have, even with the center depth we have, he should be able to make the third line.
He should,
and then they can shuffle whoever back up or back down.
But he's just not showing that he could play over Lachinsky or Pearson. I mean, unless he gets a good hard look at the next 3 games, it's just kind of a thing where you're either going back to Henderson or we're going to trade you.
No, exactly, and like I said.
Especially with
4 or 5 years after your draft, you don't want to be going back to Henderson, man.
Especially when you have in the pipeline coming too, like we talked about. You got Brabenec, Demick, Sapavilov, Cataford,
Connolly,
Uronen.
Yeah,
there's a lot of guys that maybe they're late draft picks, but they're working harder to make these teams and be a part of the team and be in Henderson. You're 24 or you're 23. It's now. It should get off the pot, or you're a failed prospect.
Pretty much.
Nothing against the kid. I really like him. Really like him in Henderson. Really like he plays, but he's young enough now to where he can still get there and make it. Even if it's not Vegas, he can still be on an NHL team. But you don't want to go the way of Cody Glass and bounce around.
Exactly.
5 teams, 3 or 4 teams before you're even 26 years old.
He has the toolkit, but
I think so. He's got a great shot. He's got good vision. It's just
he needs to put it all together, and he just needs to try a little harder.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I said, just realize you're Pat Brisson's son, and you're a first round, mid round pick that has all this attention and all this promise, but that's not enough.
No,
it's not enough.
It's not,
because fucking old injured Tanner Pearson's about to steal your job.
2 broken hands. That cracked me up. He broke one hand, and then he comes back and he immediately breaks the other hand.
Yeah, after having his wrist mauled by the Vancouver medical staff a year before.
Jesus.
And that guy's creating more chances and
looking
scoring
better,
more,
faster, stronger,
with different line mates.
Different line mates on,
because that's the thing. I was like, everyone's you got to put him in a position to succeed. Who's he playing with? Well, Pearson, he didn't get to play. He played.
Pearson played with our fourth line and then some rookies. And
as I was going to say, and then the game where he played with AHL lifers, he still looked good.
And then they put Brisson with Hurdle and Holtz, and it wasn't looking great. They said, I know maybe it wasn't the full game, but they get out there with basically an all-star center and an elite sniper, see what you do, and did nothing.
Yeah,
and it was really all Hurdle and Holtz that were running that line.
Yep.
I
hate being negative
about. I do. Me too. I really have hope in the kid. It's just he's getting to the point where he's no longer a kid.
the preseason's already halfway over. Shit, or get off the pot.
Exactly. I want to play a quick little game with you on some lineups, unless you have some notes.
I'll just give a quick shout out again to Ron Bjerg.
You look good.
I'll say he would be my sleeper pick to sneak in there somehow. And just that all the goalies look good so far. So last 2 notes on that.
All right, I want to play a little game with you on.
I like to play a game.
What you think are, as it stands today, what our PP1 and PP2 would look like.
PP1 center.
Ideally, what you would look like.
PP1, Jack Eichel, Mark Stone in front of the net, Theo in the back, Hurdle, and Holtz.
Here's mine. Just so we spread it out. Barbie, Eichel, Stone, Theo, and Olofsson. And then Carlson, Hurdle, Holtz, Petro or Hannafin, and Dorofiev.
I like that. See, as I was trying to think of the last name for mine, I was like, I feel like I'm missing someone obvious. And he said Olofsson. I was like, fuck.
That's
because I was even thinking of like, who did we just pick up that has a really good shot? Holtz.
No, I think you want to spread it out a little bit, but I mean, I know we've had power play issues ever since we've been a fucking a franchise. We've had bad power play issues.
Well, Alex, all we need to do is fire Steve Spott, and it'll be magically fixed.
Who even runs the power play now?
Stevens.
John Stevens.
I mean, he does both the PP and the penalty kill.
I mean, penalty kill's pretty decent, but
well, that's the thing. I feel like they mentioned it during one of the broadcasts last year. The penalty kill was 16th. I'm like, all right, so the PK is literally middle of the road, and the power play is dog shit.
Yeah, you need to be better. But hey, you as long as you have a good power play, or not power play, a good penalty kill, you could go all the way to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, very true.
Now you don't have half those players. But yeah, I think I know people are down about this roster this year, but I think we've got good options. There's they have to prove it, right? Obviously, they have to prove that they can all play together and play well. But, you've got guys that can stay healthy. If they can all stay healthy, you don't have to worry about, like, what just happened with Carolina. Carrier is already injured. Stevenson, I don't think... Has Stevenson played any preseason games yet for the Kraken?
I don't know.
Not sure. Marshy had his one game.
Had 3 points in his first game.
Stars will show up. Look at Jack Eichel.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm not. There. Obviously, Marshy's the big one, but I think there's plenty of names here that could replace those goals and the scoring. I don't see an issue with it. And again, like we said, defense is the best in the league. We're running 8 deep. Center depth is the best centers in the league. You just have to figure out the wingers, and I think how good Pearson and Lachinsky's looked. I think the wingers are figuring themselves out pretty quickly.
Agreed. And yeah, like I said, Holtz showed some good flashes. I think he'll clean it up.
Yeah, he's just had, again, like we said, that was his first game with Hurdle, first game with the entire team.
Yeah.
He's gonna, he'll figure it out and learn.
Who's one of the most important people on this team that we haven't talked about? Bruce Cassidy.
Yeah.
I've been watching all of his, post-game talks and or post-skate talks, and I think, one, I like what I'm hearing, and two, I just love hearing him talk because he's not afraid to get technical, and you get some nice detail.
That's what I like about some of the reporters too in the room, like Jesse Granger. Like Jesse Granger can get technical with them, and
yeah, exactly.
Who's the guy from the RJ? Ben Gotts.
Yeah, and Danny Webster.
Yeah. Those both. But, they can get technical, and I think Jesse Granger, isn't he like a beer league or an actual league goalie? He's legit. Yeah.
He's like the goalie guru for the Athletic.
Yeah. So I love that too, that he's like, well, this is what, and explains it all, and you're like, okay, I understand. And he explains it well enough to where a layman can understand what he's talking about. Yeah,
and I feel like Cassidy gets shit for people like, I feel like, and he is a hard ass, but I think, there's this perception of him that like, everyone fucking hates him. No one wants to play for him. He's too hard on guys, or he punishes guys or whatever. I think he's very fair. And what I liked hearing so far was, talking about like guys like Holtz or Olofsson or, basically these discount lottery tickets that we got because they all had, bad years.
Yeah.
He basically said more than once, saying it different ways, but saying like, I don't care, what you did in Jersey or what you did in
I love that.
I don't care about
I don't care what you did before, where you were.
I don't care about what happened in Buffalo.
You're a Knight now.
He's like, you're a Knight now, and I'm not going to approach. He's like, basically like, I'm not going to approach this as in like, well, hey, I heard you're not good at this, so I'm really going to fucking hound you on this. He basically said like, here's what we think your toolkit is. Here's how we play. What adjustments, do we have to help you through to make sure you're playing VGK hockey?
Yeah, a big talking point I heard elsewhere and multiple other, not even just our own, whatever we do have talking heads. There's just general general other podcasts and everything is, oh, you're just gonna throw Olofsson on the line with on the line with Eichel and hope he works. It's like they'll try it, and then first preseason game, it's like, oh, it works. It worked really fucking well.
Exactly, like. Exactly. I like I said, I was oddly comfortable with the whole time, and people are like, what, you just think it's gonna work? And I'm like, yeah, why not? It worked once.
Jack Eichel's gonna make it work. Like,
and then even
with the interviews with Wallace, Jack was just like, yeah, we played a little bit together, but Barbie and I have such good chemistry. You can bring somebody in.
That reminds me. I got to bring up that quote that I sent you about Eichel. Or about Olofsson from Eichel.
From Eichel. Yeah, the one that, in his interview with, I think it was Lawless, right?
Yeah, I started making a post for our Instagram about it when I was sitting at my desk at work and hating my life. And then I got sidetracked and I never finished it. Let's see. So this is Jack Eichel speaking about Victor Olofsson. And in case you didn't know, they're forcing Jack to play with him because they had a year in Buffalo. No other reason. Except, he's not. He's very talented. He's there. He's there to be an anchor to Jack Eichel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it's the truth. But anyways, here's what Jack Eichel had to say about his anchor. He said he fits our game super well. He's got a super good hockey IQ and a great set of hands. He's a great shooter. He's easy to read off of and easy to play with. Those are the things that stand out to me the most. And then
that's what you want to hear.
They asked Barbashev, and Barbashev said, "Oh yeah, I felt like we had chemistry immediately." And he listed the same three aspects separately. Said he's fast, he has really smart hockey IQ, and he has good hands and like good offensive instincts.
Yeah,
I think that line's gonna be great.
Yeah, and then after last season, everybody was talking like us picking up is all so much shit. Like, oh, Victor Olofsson, like that's a failed project. He was a 20-plus goal scorer for 3-4 years in a row.
It just kills me, like
he can score. Like, come on, guys.
It just kills me how you can look at a guy that's been playing in the league for 10 years or whatever. He's still like in his prime age.
I don't think he's been in the league for 10 years. I think he's only been in the league for like
7 or something.
Yeah,
because I think he's only like 29.
Yeah, maybe a year more than Jack, maybe.
Yeah. But anyways, it kills me when you look at.
Then again, Jack started playing at 18, so
yeah, true. It kills me that people will look at a guy like that. They'll look at his stat line year by year and be like, 18 goals, 23 goals, 27 goals, 24 goals,
and
29
one
goals.
Bad year, and because he only played 50 something games.
Yeah, then they see one year 6 goals, and they're like, well,
washed.
Well, there you go,
Yeah,
that's obviously not an outlier. That's obvious.
He's terrible, but
awful.
Corey Perry's a great asset for the bottom 6 for the Edmonton Oilers.
Well, Alex, that's the veteran leadership you need. Him and Evander Kane are out there
harassing women.
I'll say they're going to be teaching Raphael Savoy how to use punching bags, aka women.
Teach Carter Savoy how to drink too much and yell racial slurs at the people that work your gala.
Yep, great things going on over there. Can't wait.
Yeah, but like that's what I mean. Like it's because it's Vegas is in the spotlight a lot more because little thing we do has to be talked about.
Well, and everyone wants us to fucking fail. Like even that there's not trying to start social media shit. I doubt anyone's gonna fucking hear this, but this hockey YouTube that I love where he breaks down plays.
Yeah,
and he did a 2-part series things you need to know this year, and then it was basically like one was for the East and one was for the West, and then he went team by team, and it was all relatively like objective analysis of like their strengths and weaknesses. And then he gets to Vegas and he's gonna be like, oh, and the Las Vegas injured reserves, like, well, what you need to know is that Mark Stone will be sipping mimosas on the beach for the months of February to the trade deadline and magically be ready for game 1 of the playoffs. And that's if he doesn't get kicked to the curb because Vegas is so ruthless and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bro, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like,
yeah.
how can you be so objective about everything, and then as soon as it gets to Vegas, you just instantly go into the fucking memes and groupthink and
Yeah.
God, like I said, people are fucking stupid.
Well, I mean, I don't want to be like us, everybody hates us. I mean, they do, but
I'm not afraid to say that because everyone does fucking hate us. We're like the most hated team in the league.
But we're
like the fucking Patriots from like
and
10
we
years
won
ago.
one time. But no, it's like that year that we missed the playoffs. Everybody was dancing on our grave, and then year right after that, we win the cup, and all of a sudden it's like, well, no, they did it wasn't.
They cheated.
They wasn't valid. They cheated, and even though they used the same rule that take that back. Everybody hated that Tampa Bay was using LTIR too, even though they agreed to it in the CBA and
the one that everyone always
magically
magically forgets is Patrick Kane sitting on his ass for a few months.
Oh yeah, and
then magically getting activated.
Yep.
For playoffs.
Yep, exactly, and winning that Blackhawks series.
But hey, Patrick Kane's an American hero playing for an Original Six team.
And he's also a piece of shit. That
yeah,
we won't get into that. But yeah, I get where everybody's like, oh, this is the worst they've looked in so many years. Like, let's bring them down. But I've seen plenty of other, I know we talk about them a little bit here and there, but like on Empty Netters, I like both their opinion. Like, oh no, they'll be third to fourth, but they still look good. Don't count any, and that's also the thing. Like, respect the Pacific more. Like,
no, exactly.
People disrespect the Pacific so much, but 1 through 5, the Pacific is very, very, very good.
Oh yeah,
like the West alone is like we've talked about this multiple times. 10 to 12 teams are better than 8 teams in the East.
Do you think the fucking Capitals or the Red Wings would have a chicken shit chance of making the playoffs in the West?
No, the Capitals would be worse than the Ducks.
Yeah.
The Capitals would finish 8th. The Capitals would finish 8th in the Central.
Oh yeah.
Chicago would beat them out.
Honestly, I could see that.
With the team they have now, with the defense they have now, Chicago would beat them out.
Yep,
I'm sorry. Like Montreal, even Patrick Laine just decided he was going to attempt to split 2 tight defensemen and then
with like a foot of space in between them.
Yeah, and then go knee on knee, and the guy and everybody's like, "Well, that was a dirty hit." I'm like, "Well, he stuck his knee out to impede his skating. He didn't intend to break the guy's fucking ligaments in half." Maybe as a person who's had a long history of lower body injuries, Patrick, you don't go full bore and try to split 2 defensemen in a preseason game.
While staring directly at the puck and seemingly completely unaware that there's 2 guys directly in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. Like, come on, man. Like, protect yourself.
Yeah.
One, protect yourself. You've been injured. 2, maybe the guy could have done something else, but he's a fucking AHLer. He's not. I don't even know his name. Like,
no, exactly.
Like, he's not a guy that's going to appear again for the Leafs. And then the response by the Canadians, I'm like, it's a preseason game. Calm the fuck down,
dude. Like, I don't know what it is, but like somehow the Habs fan base is like riled up this year and convinced. I think it was just the Laine trade and then Lane Hudson. Basically, that was enough to be like, oh, we're back, baby, we're back.
Like, it was unbelievable. Like,
here's the thing. So Laine got injured, Reinbacher got injured, and I think Slafkovsky got injured.
Well, Reinbacher,
I don't think he was even going to play this year.
It was a clean hit, but that was before the Laine thing. Reinbacher got hit like in the first 5 minutes of the game, and it was just body to body, and that was it.
Yeah.
It was clean.
Yeah.
The Laine one, you could argue that, like, okay, he could have got moved out of the way
a little more.
Yeah, but
I would say that either way, regardless of how it happened, all I know is that Montreal fans when they finish 8th, they're going to use this as an excuse. But the real truth of the matter is that they would have finished 8th anyway.
Yeah,
maybe 7th.
I mean, like, respond because of the what had happened. Like, I respect it. Like with the Giovanni Smith thing, I'm like, it was a clean hit, but I respect you're protecting your rookie. Fine, I get it. Korczak didn't want to fight. Smith did, but Smith also pushed back. It's like, okay, I'm not fighting. Like, he jumped him, but like he wasn't swinging at Korczak.
Yeah.
He attempted to engage the fight, but whatever, it happens. What Arbor Zecas did, he jumped the guy and was wailing on the back of his head.
Well, yeah, did you see he got the maximum fine for...
He should have gotten suspended.
Yeah, no, I agree. And that's the other thing with Jack Guy, man. Like,
Jack Guy, is that how you say his last name? Jack Guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, last episode we had the Edmonton hate hour. This episode we're having the Montreal hate.
We're going to pick a Canadian team.
Welcome to the Montreal hate hour, everyone. Boom. But, I hate how much they salivate over Jack. I'm like, oh, he's the toughest guy in the league. He's the biggest enforcer in the league. He's the best fighter in the league. I've never seen this man do anything other than jump guys.
Yeah, literally.
Because, that's what he did to Reeves. He, basically, jumped him and got a few free hits. And then Reeves still got back up and fought him back down. But everyone online is like, oh, Jack Guy whooped Reeves' ass. There's a new king in town, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, one, he didn't whip his ass. And two, anyone can get a free, good free few shots in it if you fucking jump someone.
Yeah, it's
and
also
then he
great
jumped
that,
this kid.
That you're jumping, you jump Reeves. Reeves is 37 and you're in your early 20s. Real fair, first of all.
Exactly. Reeves is fucking 40 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's Reeves hasn't been the big dog in the league. I would frankly put it on Foligno in Minnesota.
Yeah, or Delorier or something.
Yeah, Delorier, or even Lawson Krause.
Rempe.
Or Rempe, Garnet Hathaway.
Yeah,
there's plenty of guys that are up there now. Probably Delorier. I'd say Delorier and Krause can fight too. In Utah. He jumped him from behind and beat on the back of his head. I'm like, first, what? The only reason you don't have a response from Toronto because Toronto's like, it's a preseason game. We don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, when you got jumped there, I saw a guy, I think Benoit came in and went to swing at him, and then all of a sudden, oh no, I don't want to fight anymore.
Well, and it's funny to see Slavkovsky also got into a fight.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I saw in my life.
Yeah, and it's funny because I feel like when people talk about Slavkovsky, they don't necessarily talk about fighting because obviously he's a first overall pick, but it's like, well, he's so big and so strong and he's got snarl to his game and this and that. But then when you watch the fight, they squared up. He got a few quick jabs in, and of course the Montreal fans go ballistic for a few quick little light jabs with the hand that's holding the jersey. The guy's helmet pops off. He starts to get loose, and then Slavkovsky panics. He reaches up, grabs the guy's hair, and starts pulling his hair.
I saw that, yeah.
Not to be misogynistic or whatever.
That's some pussy shit.
Starts pulling his hair like a fucking woman. And then the guy turns around and fucking wallops him. Fucking Hadouken.
That's his
big
fault.
swing.
Yeah.
Fucking drops him with one punch. And then you could hear the crowd trying to keep cheering, but they just watch their boy get fucking dropped by an AHLer. Get dropped with one punch. And
but yeah, it's ridiculous. And then with it's classic case of also rookie over hype.
Yeah, fucking whole Bell Center going fucking insane every time Lane Hudson touches the puck.
Yeah, he's a defenseman, right?
Yeah,
he's a bit undersized too, right?
Yeah, he's small but skilled.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll be good for them, obviously, because that defense isn't that great outside of what Mike. Was it who was on? Is it Matheson?
I don't remember if Matheson's on there.
Not Matheson. I think he's Matheson. Mike Matheson. I think he was on the Canadians last year. Whatever. But
point is, not a lot going on right now.
Yeah, it's a
lot of youth.
Yeah, a lot of youth, and it's gonna not be immediate. I think Marty St. Louis is a good coach for a young team, but temper your expectations for a bunch of children.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like there's just this narrative look how much we love hockey because we go so ballistic over rookies, and you would never see an American team sell out their arena for rookie face-off and do this and that. And I'm like, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, I'm like, it's also kind of pathetic.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you have to go crazy for Lane Hudson touching the puck because you haven't won a fucking cup in 34 years.
You have to sell out the Bell Center at a rookie face-off, or they're going to move the team.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
it goes back to we should get another team in Quebec. I'm like, there's a reason why they moved the Nordiques to Colorado.
I say the same thing every time, and people fucking hate me every time I do it. Every time there's relocation talk or expansion talk, and it's like, oh yeah, Atlanta. Why would you go to Atlanta for? Just go to Quebec City. And I'm always just respond with, yeah, what's going to be great for the league is if they put a team in a city with a population of 500,000 people, where the dollar is worth 73 cents.
Yeah.
U.S.
Oh boy.
That's a great recipe.
Not Atlanta, a major metropolitan city, or Houston, another major metropolitan city with millions of people.
No, put it in Quebec City.
Quebec City, and,
I mean, hey man, it can work. That's why the Winnipeg Jets are doing so well.
You should put a professional NHL team in Henderson.
Yeah,
same thing.
Let's put a team in fucking Pahrump.
Basically,
let's put a team in Carson City.
Yeah, I think speaking of relocation talk, I think the topic came up again, and then Gary Bettman just flat out said, we're not even talking about it.
Yeah.
Those are just ideas, but we're not even talking about expanding anywhere right now.
What I feel like people don't understand is there's a big difference between a group or a city saying we would like a team. There's a big difference between that and then Bettman and the owners saying, okay, we would like to have a new team.
Exactly. It's going to be
I'm sure they will eventually. And again, the Canadian fans don't want to hear it. The reason there will be more teams is because you have to make up for the drag on revenues of having 7 teams having all their intake in fucking maple syrup dollars.
Yeah, I honestly don't think you would ever see another team in Canada. Nope. I don't know where else where you put it. Everything's covered. Toronto, Ottawa, shit, even Calgary and Edmonton are way too far out there. Vancouver is probably the most profitable team because they're actually in a major city. Yeah,
it's Toronto, Montreal, and Vancouver are the top 3. And then Edmonton and Calgary, still good size, but a little market-wise, a little smaller than I think people think. And then Winnipeg just feels like they're hanging on by a thread.
Yeah, it's a dot. And unfortunately, those people love hockey, and they sell at the arena. Well, not last year. It was the worst attendance to start last year, right?
Well, that's what always kills me when people, the phrase I always hear Canadians use, like, "Oh, it's about selling tickets and getting butts and seats." I'm like, you're going to get more butts and seats in Canada, even if America has a bigger TV market. And I'm like, that might be true, but what are those butts worth?
Yeah.
If again, to me, it really is as simple as you're taking in your money in Canadian money, but you have to pay your players in American money.
Yeah.
That's almost a 30-cent difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
And that's why the Vegas Golden Knights are always over capacity for every single game.
Yes, sir.
82 games out of the year.
Yep. That place was popping.
Oh, yeah. It's been all 3 games were, not 3, 2 games. We've only had 2 home games. Both home games were packed. I was there on the Kings, almost at capacity aside from a couple rows in the lower bowl. And then the Utah game was pretty goddamn packed, too.
Yeah, it felt like a regular game.
Yeah, it was maybe all of a handful of seats per section, if that, were empty. And that's pretty crazy to me.
Well, Alex, in Montreal, every seat would have been filled. And we all would have been chanting Brendan Brasson's name.
We would have been chanting for blood when when it was when someone hit somebody in the corner and didn't even matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus. And with that, next week we'll talk more about the preseason games. We are going to be doing our hockey fantasy draft.
Yes, draft today.
I swear to God, if Jacob gets the number 1 pick, I'm going to strangle him in the middle of Mojave.
Alex, I hate to break it to you, but I don't need the number 1 pick.
Shut the fuck up.
Because I'm the reigning champion.
There's 12 people this year. It's going to be way harder.
It is. With my luck,
I'm excited.
As long as I don't get the fucking 12th pick.
No, you want either 1, 2, and 3 or 9, 10, 11, 12. You don't want fucking 6.
That's true.
That'd be a nightmare scenario.
That's very true.
I say that, watch me get fucking 7.
Yeah. Also, before we sign off, quick shout out. The Las Vegas Aces are in the semifinals.
They're playing right now. I just had it up. The score is, God damn it, ESPN. Fuck me, right? They're playing they're playing the New York Liberty in the semifinals right now. Last I checked, they were down by about 5 points, but they did come back against
Seattle
2 times. So, hey, it's a 5-game series. Anything is possible.
Exactly. I believe in those ladies. 3-peat is coming.
I love it. They looked really good. I always want to check out a game, but I really need to go check out a game because it looks like a ton of fun.
For real. My biggest issue I ran into this summer is every time there's a game here, it's like, oh yeah, it's on Tuesday at 1 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I have this thing called work. I'm sorry.
I have a job. Sorry, ladies. Let's wait. It's bad. Liberty's up 81-68 with 5 minutes left in the 4th. So we might lose this one, but it's a 5-game series.
Hey.
Liberty was the best. The Liberty were
This would be our first loss of the playoffs.
Yeah, so. The Liberty were the best team in the league. They're 32-8. So
come on, we got Aja Wilson.
Yeah,
Aja Wilson. Chelsea Gray,
Yeah.
Kelsey Plum.
We got a really good team, so they'll figure it out. But yeah, shout out to the Aces. Hopefully they go far again.
Championship team, championship
two
city.
in a row. City of champions, more than what the Edmonton Oilers can say.
Yeah, at least in this millennia.
Yeah. And with that being said, stay gold.
Stay gold, friends.